Imagine walking into your own home, the place that's supposed to be your sanctuary, only to find your world turned upside down. That's how it started for me. My name is Emily, and I thought I had it all. A loving boyfriend, a thriving business, dreams of a future together. But one rainy evening, as I pushed open the door earlier than expected, I heard voices. His voice, laughing with someone else. My heart pounded as I crept closer, not wanting to believe what my ears were screaming. There, in our living room, was Mark, my partner of 5 years, tangled in a web of lies that would shatter everything. Let me take you back. Mark and I met in college. He was the charming guy everyone noticed, tall, with a smile that could light up a room. I was the quiet one, studying hard to build a future. We bumped into each other at a campus coffee shop, and from that day, it felt like fate. He pursued me with flowers, late night talks, promises of forever. I fell hard, believing every word. After graduation, we moved in together, pooling our savings to start a small business, a cozy cafe called Brewed Bliss. I handled the books, the recipes, everything behind the scenes, while he charmed customers and networked like a pro. It was our dream, or so I thought. Lately, though, things felt off. Mark was distant, always on his phone, coming home late with excuses about meetings. I brushed it off as stress from the cafe's growth. But that evening, the truth hit like a storm. I peeked around the corner and saw him with her. Sarah, our barista, the one I'd hired. They weren't just talking, they were planning. Once we get Emily out of the picture, he whispered, the cafe will be ours. I've already transferred most of the funds to a new account. My blood ran cold. He was using me, my ideas, my hard work, my trust to build his empire, only to toss me aside. I backed away silently, my mind racing. How could he do this? We'd shared dreams, built a life. But there it was, betrayal staring me in the face. I slipped out the door, tears mixing with the rain, vowing he wouldn't get away with it. What would I do next? How far would I go to make him pay? Stick around, because this story is about to unfold in ways you won't see coming. I drove aimlessly that night, memories flooding back. Our first date, where he held my hand and said, I was the one. Late nights decorating the cafe, laughing over spilled coffee. It all felt so real then. Now it was tainted. I pulled over, sobbing into the steering wheel, feeling 5 years crumble. Anger bubbled up. How dare he? But I knew rushing in would play into his hands. So I wiped my tears and started thinking, what evidence did I have? What could I use? By morning, I had composed myself. I returned home as if nothing happened, smiling through the pain. Hey babe, rough night at work? He asked, kissing my cheek like the traitor he was. I nodded, forcing a laugh. Inside, a fire was igniting. I began gathering clues quietly, checking bank statements on my phone when he wasn't looking, noting suspicious withdrawals. Each discovery fueled my resolve. He thought he could use me and walk away? Oh no. I was going to turn the tables. Mark wasn't just cheating, he was scheming. He'd forged my signature on loans, using the cafe as collateral for his secret plans with Sarah. They dreamed of expanding without me, cutting me out entirely. As I pieced it together, shock turned to determination. I wasn't the weak girl he thought. I was ready to fight back. What would my first move be? You'll see soon enough. Before that night, life seemed picture perfect. Mark and I were the couple everyone envied. We'd wake up to fresh coffee, share breakfast, and head to Brewed bliss. I came up with the name during one of our late night brainstorming sessions. I poured my soul into it, perfecting muffin recipes, designing the menu, painting the walls to save money. Mark was the face of the operation, greeting customers with that grin, making them feel special. Emily's the brains, he'd say proudly, or so I thought. We dreamed big. One day, we'll have chains across the city, he'd whisper, pulling me close. I believed him. I trusted him with everything, our finances, our future. We even talked about marriage, kids, the whole package. But cracks were forming long before I noticed. Subtle at first, like him forgetting anniversaries or snapping over small things. I chalked it up to business pressure. The cafe was booming thanks to my marketing ideas, social media posts, loyalty programs. We were turning profits, saving for expansion. Little did I know, he was siphoning funds. One day, I caught him on a call. Yeah, Sarah's great. She's got fresh ideas. I smiled then, thinking it was innocent. How naive I was. As months passed, the distance grew. He'd stay late training Sarah, coming home smelling of her perfume. I'd question it gently, and he'd gaslight me. You're overthinking, Em. It's just work. I'd apologize, feeling guilty for doubting. But intuition nagged. My best friend Lisa pulled me aside. Something's off with Mark. Be careful. I laughed it off, defending him. Oh, how I wish I'd listened. Financial red flags appeared. Our joint account dipped mysteriously. Supplies cost more, he'd explain. I handled the books, but he controlled the passwords now, claiming it was easier. When I pushed, he'd distract with affection, making me forget. It was manipulation, pure and simple. He used my love against me, keeping me hooked while plotting his escape. Reflecting now, it hurts to admit how blind I was. Betrayal sneaks in when you're happiest. What happened next pushed me over the edge. Would I confront him or play the long game? The answer might surprise you. We'd host events at the cafe, poetry nights, live music. I thrived on the energy, connecting with people. Mark networked, bringing in investors. One, Mr. Harlan, a wealthy businessman, took interest. This place has potential, he'd say. Mark beamed, but I handled the pitches, sealing deals. Yet Mark took credit publicly. My vision, he'd boast. I let it slide, thinking we were a team. Sarah became more involved. She started as part-time help, but Mark promoted her quickly. She's efficient, he said. I'd see them whispering, sharing inside jokes. Jealousy crept in, but I suppressed it. Trust was our foundation, or so I believed. One evening, after closing, I found a note in his pocket. Can't wait for our future. S. My stomach dropped, but he dismissed it as a customer thank you. Lies upon lies. The conflict escalated when I suggested we formalize our partnership legally. Let's make it official, I said excitedly. His face paled. No rush, babe. That hesitation planted doubt. From there, things spiraled. Late nights alone, I'd scroll through our photos, wondering where it went wrong. Sadness weighed heavy, but anger simmered. He was using me, and I was starting to see it. The conflict truly ignited when the lies piled up too high to ignore. It was a crisp autumn morning when I decided to dig deeper. While Mark was out running errands, I logged into our business email, something he thought I didn't have access to anymore. What I found left me breathless. Emails between him and Sarah, not just flirty, but strategic. Once we secure the loan, we can buy Emily out cheap. One read, she's too trusting. My hands shook as I printed them out, hiding them in my drawer. How long had this been going on? Months? Years? The sadness hit first, waves of it, making me curl up on the floor. sobbing silently. We'd built this together. I sacrificed my career dreams for the cafe, putting everything into us. And for what? To be discarded like yesterday's news. That afternoon, Mark returned with flowers. Guilt gifts, I realize now. For my amazing girl, he said, kissing me. I forced a smile, but inside, storm clouds gathered. Over dinner, I tested the waters. Hey, let's review the accounts together tonight. He choked on his food. Maybe tomorrow. Tired. Excuses again. The anger built. How could he look me in the eye? Days turned into a tense dance. I'd act normal at the cafe, serving customers with a grin, while watching him and Sarah exchange glances. One time, I overheard them in the back room. Emily suspects nothing. Soon, it'll be just us. Shock froze me in place. I retreated to the bathroom, splashing water on my face to hide the tears. Relief came in small moments, like confiding in Lisa. You deserve better, she said, hugging me. Her support was a lifeline, but the conflict peaked during a staff meeting. Mark announced expansion plans, ones I'd suggested, but credited Sarah. Her brilliant idea, he beamed. I spoke up. Actually, that was mine from last year. The room went silent. He laughed it off. Team effort, right? Humiliation burned. Customers noticed the tension. Sales dipped slightly. At home, arguments erupted. You're paranoid, he'd yell. Maybe if you trusted me? I wasn't paranoid. I was awakening. Evidence mounted. Bank alerts showed transfers to an unknown account. He was draining us dry. Sadness mixed with fury. How had I let this happen? But in that chaos, a spark ignited. I wouldn't go down without a fight. The betrayal was clear now. What would I do with this knowledge? Confrontation? Or something smarter? The plan was forming, but first, the full sting of betrayal had to hit. Nights became sleepless. I'd lie beside him, pretending to sleep while my mind raced. Memories of our early days clashed with the present. His laughter now sounded fake, his touch cold. Friends urged me to leave, but I couldn't yet, not without making him feel the same pain. The conflict tore at me. Love versus justice, but betrayal won out, fueling my resolve. One evening, I followed him after work. He met Sarah at a park, their embrace confirming everything. Heartbroken, I drove home alone, plodding in the dark. The stage was set for the ultimate reveal. The betrayal exploded into full view on a night I'll never forget. It was our anniversary, 5 years together. I planned a surprise dinner at the cafe after hours, candles flickering, our favorite playlist humming. I wanted to confront him gently, give him a chance to confess. Foolish hope, I know. He arrived late, disheveled. Sorry, traffic. Lies. We sat down, and I poured my heart out. Mark, something's wrong. Talk to me. He shifted uncomfortably, then dropped the bomb. Emily, I think we need space. The cafe, it's better if I run it alone. My world spun. What about us? I whispered. He avoided my eyes. I've met someone. Sarah, we're in love. The shock was electric. Tears streamed as he explained how I'd held him back, how Sarah inspired him. He admitted the financial tricks. I moved money to protect our future, mine and hers. He wanted me to sign over my share for pennies. It's fair, he said coldly. Anger surged. Fair. You used me. He shrugged like it was nothing. I stormed out, leaving him with the candles burning low. In my car, sadness, overwhelmed. 5 years gone. But as I drove, relief trickled in. No more pretending. Now I knew the enemy. Questions swirled. How to hit back. Where to start. The revenge plan began that night. in the quiet of Lisa's guest room where I crashed. He didn't stop there. The next day, he changed the locks on the cafe, emailing me, "Stay away. Lawyers will handle it." He spread rumors to mutual friends. Emily was unstable. Isolation hit hard, but it sharpened my focus. I hired a private investigator quietly, using savings he'd overlooked. Reports came in, secret meetings, hidden assets. Each detail fueled my fire. The betrayal cut deep, exposing his true colors. He wasn't the man I loved. He was a user, a thief of hearts and dreams. But in that pain, strength grew. I wasn't broken. I was reborn. What would revenge look like? Something calculated, devastating. Hang on, because the planning phase is where it gets intense. Emotions ran wild in those days. Shock at his audacity, sadness for lost dreams, anger at his greed. Friends rallied, sharing stories of his past deceptions. I wasn't the first. That knowledge brought bitter relief. I journaled everything, building my case. The betrayal wasn't just personal, it was criminal. Fraud, embezzlement. I consulted a lawyer in secret, learning my options. As weeks passed, he paraded Sarah around town, acting like victors. Seeing them at our cafe, now rebranded, stung like salt in a wound. But I smiled from afar, knowing their downfall was coming. The hook was set, now to reel them in. With the betrayal fresh and raw, I dove into the revenge plan, careful not to let emotion cloud my judgment. Staying with Lisa, I transformed her spare room into a war room, walls covered in notes, timelines, evidence. First step, secure my position. My lawyer, Carla, reviewed the documents. "He's committed fraud," she confirmed. "We can sue, but let's make it hurt." I nodded, determination stealing me. A lawsuit was too straightforward. I wanted him to lose everything: reputation, money, future. So we brainstormed. I contacted Mr. Harlan, the investor. Pretending concern, I shared select emails. "Mark's been dishonest," I said tearfully. He was shocked. I trusted him. Harlan pulled his funding immediately, a massive blow. Next, the finances. Using the investigator's leads, I traced the hidden account. It was in Sarah's name, smart but not smart enough. Carla filed for an audit, freezing assets. Mark panicked, calling me. "What are you doing?" I hung up, savoring the fear in his voice. But revenge needed layers. I targeted his social circle. Anonymously, I leaked stories to local blogs. Nothing false, just truths about his schemes. Headlines popped up. Local cafe owner accused of fraud. Customers boycotted. Sales plummeted. Sarah's friends distanced themselves, whispering about her homewrecker status. Emotional triggers hit hard during this. Anger drove me forward, but sadness crept in at night. Mourning what could have been. Shock at my own ruthlessness, yet relief in taking control. I kept it clean. No direct confrontations, just strategic moves. Cliffhanger moments kept me going. What if he fought back? He did, hiring his own lawyer, but evidence stacked against him. I gathered more. Witness statements from former employees who'd seen his flirting and shady deals. The plan evolved. Expose him publicly at a key event, the City Chamber of Commerce Gala, where he'd be honored for business excellence. I'd crash it with proof. But first, build alliances. I reconnected with old contacts, pitching my own ideas. Brewed Bliss was my vision, I told them. Offers came in, partnerships, investments. As the net tightened, Mark's world cracked. He lost friends, his car repossessed from unpaid loans. Sarah wavered, arguing with him publicly. My heart raced with anticipation. The climax was near. Would it all pay off or backfire? The tension built step by calculated step. I monitored everything obsessively. Social media, bank alerts. One night, he showed up at Lisa's begging, "Emily, let's talk." I refused. Door slammed. Inside, triumph mixed with pity. But no mercy. He'd shown none. As the revenge plan gained momentum, the climax approached like a gathering storm, full of suspense and high stakes. The gala night arrived, black tie affair, city's elite buzzing. Mark was set to receive an award, strutting in with Sarah on his arm, oblivious to the trap. I arrived incognito, elegant dress hiding my nerves. Heart pounding, I mingled, whispering to key people, Harlan, other investors, planting seeds of doubt. Then, during his speech, "Thank you for this honor. Brewed bliss is my dream come true." Lies. I stood up, microphone in hand, arranged with an ally. "Wait," I said calmly. Gasps echoed. "Mark didn't build this alone. He stole it. From me." I presented evidence on a screen, emails, bank records, forgeries. The room fell silent, then murmurs erupted. Shock on his face. Priceless. "Emily." "What?" he stammered. Security escorted him out amid chaos. Sarah fled, tears streaming. Relief washed over me as applause started, slow at first, then thunderous. Justice served. But the night wasn't over. Outside, police waited, fraud charges filed earlier, handcuffs clicked, his empire crumbled. Weeks before, I'd rehearsed my speech, heart racing each time. Lisa practiced with me. Make it emotional, but factual. Nerves kept me up. What if I froze? But determination won. On the day, makeup hid my anxiety. Arriving early, I scoped the venue, allies in place. Seeing Mark enter, smug, fueled my fire. His speech dragged, each word a lie. When I interrupted, time slowed. The projector lit up with proof, screenshots, timelines. Whispers turned to outrage. "How could he?" someone said. Mark's defense crumbled. "It's a misunderstanding." But evidence spoke louder. Sarah's face paled, realizing her complicity. As he was led away, our eyes met, his pleading, mine resolute. Post-climax, adrenaline crashed. I collapsed in Lisa's arms, tears of relief. The night marked the end of his reign, beginning of my rise. The fallout was swift. Media swarmed. Betrayed partner exposes fraud. His reputation destroyed, business shut down. I reclaimed what was mine, starting anew. With Mark arrested, the legal wheels turned. Court dates came. He pleaded guilty to lesser charges, avoiding trial, but facing fines and probation. The cafe assets returned to me. Judge ruled in my favor. I sold it quickly, using proceeds to start fresh. Sarah apologized tearfully, claiming manipulation. I forgave, but distanced. She left town, starting over. Mutual friends chose sides, most mine, seeing the truth. Relief dominated. No more fear, just peace. Sadness lingered for lost time, but anger dissolved. Shock at my transformation from victim to victor. Life rebuilt slowly. I launched Emily's Essence, a chain of wellness cafes focusing on empowerment. Investors flocked, inspired by my story. Personal life bloomed too. Dating cautiously, but open to love. Mark lost everything. Job, home, respect. Last I heard, working odd jobs, alone. Justice, not vengeance, prevailed. In those first weeks, paperwork overwhelmed, but satisfied. Reclaiming accounts, closing chapters. Friends celebrated. You did it. Toasts to resilience. Business thrived. My ideas unhindered. Customers shared stories, connecting deeply. Healing came through helping others. Occasional doubts. Was it too harsh? No, he earned it. As the dust settled, it's time to reflect. What started as love turned into a cautionary epic about trust, deception, and standing up. First lesson: never let love blind you to red flags. I ignored the signs, distance, excuses, because I wanted to believe in us. But true partnership means transparency. If something feels off, dig deeper. It might save your heart and dreams. Second, betrayal hurts, but it doesn't define you. Mark used me, shattered my world, but from those pieces, I built something stronger. Revenge wasn't about destruction, it was about justice. I chose smart moves over rash ones, turning pain into power. The best revenge is living well, proving they couldn't break you. Third, surround yourself with real support. Lisa, my lawyer, allies. They were my backbone. Isolation makes you vulnerable. Community lifts you up. Finally, reflect on forgiveness. I didn't forget, but letting go freed me. Holding grudges poisons you, not them. Life's too short for bitterness. This experience changed everything, for the better. I emerged wiser, fiercer, ready for whatever comes. If you're facing betrayal, know this. You have the strength to rise. Turn the page. Write your own ending. Thank you for joining this journey. What's your takeaway? Share below. Maybe your story inspires someone too.